The Denver Broncos are urged to sign this star running back in free agency. So, one position that I do not feel like is being talked about enough as the Denver Broncos enter their free agency period is running back. Behind Javonte Williams, the Broncos only have Tyler Beatty, Demarie Crockett, and Chase Edmonds on the roster. Latavius Murray, Mike Boone, and Marlon Mack are all slated to be free agents, and Chase Edmonds is a likely cut candidate considering the Broncos can save $6 million by moving on from him. Assuming that move is made, the Broncos are definitely going to have to add some other pieces at the running back position. I would not be surprised if they went ahead and re-signed Latavius Murray in free agency, given his familiarity with Sean Payton and this offense from his time in New Orleans. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos wanted to add a more dynamic threat at that position and may want to look towards free agency to get that done. We all know what Javonte Williams is capable of when he's healthy, but the fact of the matter is, right now, he's not healthy. He's coming off of a multi-ligament knee injury, and unfortunately, the data and the science suggests that most players who are coming off such injuries are not really themselves until year 2 coming off that injury. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be able to get out of Javonte Williams in this upcoming season. If he does return to form, that's absolutely fantastic. But I feel like the Broncos are going to have to potentially prepare for the possibility that Javonte Williams will not be the same old Javonte Williams next season. And as much as I really hope this does not happen, and I really don't want to have to discuss this possibility, but there's a chance that Javonte Williams may never be the same player again after this injury. This was a really bad injury that he suffered. He tore multiple ligaments in his knee, and for running backs, that's normally a really bad sign. Now granted, we did see Saquon Barkley return to his old self again after tearing multiple ligaments in his knee, but remember, it took him 2 years to get back to his old self. There may be a chance that it may be a similar recovery trajectory for Javonte Williams. I really hope that's not the case, but I feel like the Broncos are probably going to have to prepare for that possibility. Again, even if Javonte Williams does return to his old self, the Broncos may want to add another threat at running back just because Sean Payton's offense has almost always predicated 2 or more running backs in their system. Now, an article written by Christopher Hart of Mile High Report examined the possibility of the Denver Broncos bringing in probably the second highest rated candidate on the running back market in free agency, and that is Miles Sanders. Sanders, of course, is coming off a Super Bowl 57 appearance with the Philadelphia Eagles, and between him and Josh Jacobs, those are probably going to be the hottest commodities on the running back market. Now, as the article mentioned, conventional wisdom and history does show that running backs fail to live up to expectations on their second contract, just like what we saw with Melvin Gordon. But given the fact that Sean Payton really does like to use multiple running backs in his system, and the fact that Javonte Williams is kind of an unknown entering next season, George Paton and Sean Payton may very well fork out the dough necessary to get a top-tier running back. The Broncos would certainly be getting a proven commodity with Miles Sanders. To date, he has played in 57 games with 49 career starts since being drafted in 2019. In those games, he has accrued 3,708 rushing yards and 20 rushing touchdowns with a whopping 5.0 yards per carry. That is insane. That's like rookie year Phillip Lindsay, but consistently being able to hold up that production. Sanders has also been proven to be a threat in the receiving game as well. In his career, he's hauled in 124 catches for 942 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, the reason why those numbers aren't higher is because the Eagles use a variety of running backs in their offense, and they have multiple different backs who catch passes out of the backfield, such as Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. It's not for the fact that Miles Sanders is not an effective receiving back, it's simply that the Eagles had plenty of other weapons in the receiving game that they wanted to dedicate Miles Sanders to simply being a bell cow downhill runner. Now, Sanders is a threat in multiple different ways as a runner. He's physical, but he can also burst off an explosive run at any time. He has great vision, great burst, and great twitch, but he can also deliver a really nasty stiff arm and can put on a really physical run when he has to get it done. He's someone that can get you the tough earned 3 yards that you need to get in a third down and short situation, and he's also someone that can rip off an explosive run on first down and 10 at any time. Miles Sanders is a threat in multiple different facets of the game as a runner and as a receiver, and I feel like he would be able to slide right into the Sean Payton offense, and he would really make life a lot easier for Russell Wilson. He would give Russell Wilson a safety valve when the play breaks down, and would really give Russell Wilson a bit of a security blanket on the field in those tough situations. Now, I know what a lot of Broncos country is thinking here. Your running back is never going to be successful if you don't have an offensive line, and that is 100% true. According to Spot Track, Miles Sanders is expected to earn roughly $7 million per season with a multi-year deal on the open market. That average annual value would make him one of the top 10 highest paid running backs in the NFL. The Broncos could probably afford to sign Sanders on a 4-year, $28 million deal. You could make a good chunk of that money a signing bonus, and you could spread that around to make it a little bit easier on the salary cap. Also, through a series of other expected roster moves such as cuts and restructures, the Broncos can actually free up enough salary cap to where they could not only go out and afford to pay a top-tier running back such as Miles Sanders or Josh Jacobs, they could also have enough financial resources to invest in their offensive line. What I expect the Broncos to do is invest in their needs on offense and free agency, such as running back and the offensive line, and that would leave the draft to invest in some of their needs on defense, such as linebacker, edge rusher, and safety. The Broncos, with some salary cap wizardry, will certainly be able to have enough resources to go out and invest in their offensive line, as well as bring in a top-tier running back in free agency. So at the end of the day, I feel like that would make pretty much everybody happy in Broncos country. So I'm curious, Broncos country, how would you feel if the team went out and signed Miles Sanders in free agency? Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways that you can help us out. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out to fellow members of Broncos country just like you and me. And for now, guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.